all can move Ubiaja forward in one way or the other. I have reached a lot of people, and I'm really be encouraged by those that have responded to me, that have reached me on their own, those that have congratulated me, those that have encouraged me to continue the good work that I'm doing here, and those that have castigated me for asking this question. And for those that are even asking me why am I talking about king in my video, I would like to say that my king in Ubiaja Zaiki, I bow my head as my king without being disrespectful. This is why I'm your subject. Being a subject is not being it's not being a slave. Being a subject means being loyal to my king, and I give my king all the respect that is possible. But being a subject also means I can ask questions. Being a subject also means I can question his decision. That's why I'm a subject, and that is why. Because in a society of the day, if we have a good leaders, that's because we have a good followers. And if we have a bad leaders, that's because we have a bad followers. So being a subject to the king does not mean the subjects are slaves. The subjects are there to help the king to rule in the best possible way. So Zaiki, I congratulate you again and I greet you. I said may you live long. May you live long for us to rule us till. May you live long and you shall never die premature death, my king. And I give you the honor and the praise that is due to you as my king. The king, you all have to understand that the king has some influence, and the king has some powers also. There are a lot of power in the disposition of a king of a particular place. Let's take King Elizabeth for example. King Elizabeth is not the one ruling, but he is cabinet, but he has a prime minister that is ruling on his behalf, that is running the affair of the United Kingdom. But still, the Queen has a great influence in the decision making. So that is why King coming into the discussion when I ask, do you think our king has done enough for the development and growth of Ubiaja? Some people say that disrespect is a question. It's a personal reflection for all of us to reflect on how we can better, how we can also help the king to rule us well. That is what the exact question is meant for. No man is an island of knowledge, and no man knows it all. Our king, once again, I must congratulate you, and I must also continue to pray that may you live long for all of us. So our king is also there for us to question his decision. Just like Queen Elizabeth, we are not living in a dictatorial society whereby whatever the king says, that's where we have the chief council. We have the chief council also there to question the decision of the king, to liaise, to talk, to discuss with the king. I am not a chief, and I don't belong to any kingship in the Ubiaja, but I am a subject, a loyal subject of the king that is ready to serve the king when he's being called upon. So the king has enormous power in his disposition, enormous power that in Ubiaja as a whole, nothing can happen without the consent of the king. He must be informed, even when sometimes he does not have the power to overrule, but he has an influence. Those influence and those power are what we are talking about, that are in the disposition of the king, that are we the common man in the society does not possess. We must acknowledge that there are some powers, there are some influence that the king will in every society, in every settlement that the common man could not will. So those influences and those power must be used for a developmental progress of a settlement. So that's why we ask those questions. Is our king actually doing enough? So I don't mean to be disrespectful to the king. I am only here to serve the king to the best of my knowledge. And one of those ways that I have to serve my king is to question my king, to ask him questions. It's not in a disrespectful way, but to help him rule me well. Because if I don't talk, If I don't ask question, my king cannot know my grievances. If I don't ask question, my king cannot know what I really want. If I don't ask question, my king might not know how to rule me in a possible way that it will not cause me any harm. That is why we, the subject, must speak us, must tell our king what we want to be done. He's our leader. That is our king. So we, the subject, have the rights and the responsibility. We own the duty. We own a duty to the king to ask the king, this is how we want to be ruled. Taiki, may you live long. May you reign. May untimely death never visit you. May God grant you more wisdom and knowledge to rule us. But we also beg you that the Ubiaja must and must see growth to actually allow our sons and daughters all over the world to come back home. Sorry for the sound of the bike. My flat is very close to the road. So the sons and daughters of Ubiaja must find their way back home. We must invest back home. We must build our home. And again said that if I don't build my house, if I don't build my home, who will build it for me? That should be the sounding question that should be lingering in the hearts of every sons and daughters of Ubiaja. That should be the question that if I don't build my home, who will build it for me? We all have the tendency to do something for Ubiaja, and we all must answer the clarion call. Our father's house and our mother's house must not be left for ruin. Neither our mother's legacy must go into extinction. When our mother gave birth to us, it's our duty to continue our legacy. It's our duty to continue their legacy. We must not allow the ruins, we must not allow the house of our father to go into ruins. We must not. We must not. And neither must we allow the legacy of our mother to die, to destroy. So that's why I'm calling upon all the sons and daughters of Ubiaja, wherever you might find yourself all over the world, to come back home and do something with home. The new house, the fine house, the beautiful house you are building in Uromi, the fine house, the beautiful house, the business, investment you are opening in Benin, in Lagos, in Abuja. When you bring those shopping malls back to Ubiaja, when you bring those buildings back to Ubiaja, we all have a place we can call a home. And I also beg and urge Ubiajas that we should start selling. We should start inviting our sons and daughters. If you are having a piece of land very close to the road, and the land has been there, you are not ready to use it yet, and you don't have money to develop it yet, sell it to those people that are ready to develop it. And mind you will also make profit out of it. It's called real estating. When if you even buy that land, you can even decide to go into real estate. So the difference between we, a black man and a white man, is that the Western people, they know what is called wealth generation and wealth creation. The piece of land you left just left untouched, you left it to waste. If you sell that land, you might have enough capital to start a business. That money can be used to purchase another piece of land, and you sell that land again, you make a profit. That's how you create wealth. Look, there's nothing, money doesn't fall from heaven. You must be smart. You must be smart in wealth generation, in wealth creation. You must be smart.